Hey, everybody. I'm Beth, and I am your holistic health practitioner, coach, hypnotist, somatic practitioner, body worker, energy worker, so on and so forth, right? That will be on this journey with you if we decide to work together. So, they told me to make this video short, like really short, but I'm not going to do that. But I will give you a quick DL, the too long didn't read this version, and then we'll dive into the longer one because I know that life is busy and it's difficult to like absorb all the information. But what I really want to do is give you my philosophy and how we will work together and why we will do those specific types of things. Find more information about the specific way we work together below this video. And if you're ready, you can always fill out the form and connect that way. So, my belief 100% is that in order to heal, we need to incorporate a holistic, integrated approach mind, body, spirit, but like really. That gets to the root of what's going on and not just the symptoms. This doesn't mean we ignore our everyday things like feeding ourselves well, moving our body, drinking enough water, right? What I'm talking about is a capital T truth that our subconscious literally runs the show. Our lives look almost exactly the same every single day, and that's because our subconscious is the one who likes to conserve energy. And since its major job is helping us survive, basically all that it does is it takes information from our past experiences, including the inherited ones, and uses that to decide what we should do each day in order to survive. But these things are not always beneficial for thriving, right? We choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven because our nervous system believes that it's safer to stick with something that is familiar than to wander into the unknown where we don't have tools and resources. So, this lands us in reinforced patterns of potential stagnation at best and harm at worst. So, how do we actually shift these patterns in our lives in a meaningful way? I know we probably have all been in that boat where we're like, "Oh yeah, of course that's why that's happening." And then we go to try to be, like this new way of being, these new actions, whether it's like I'm going to, these goals or whatever that we set for ourselves and then like 2 weeks later we're all of a sudden like back where we were before or worse off, right? So how do we change this? We change the state that we see the problem in. Because as Einstein famously said, we cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking that we used when we created them. So we dive into the body and the subconscious together, along with the spiritual aspects, whatever they are for you. And with those, because those things honestly make a badass team for healing. We pull in our spiritual connection, whatever that is for you, and our whole self is supported. And then rewiring the program that runs underneath the whole show becomes an easier task than when we just try to do mindset work or we just try to do actions or whatever that looks like, right? So, if you're ready to do this incredibly sacred deep work together, then fill out the form below and let's hop on a call together. So, here is the long version. Jung said, "Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Everything that happens to us is recorded in our subconscious to be referenced later. And when we have experiences that are tied with big emotions, they get really strongly wired. This is the beauty of our brains. This helps us survive in the chaos. In survival situations that happen too quickly for our conscious mind to respond, we need to be able to make split-second decisions. So thank goodness for our subconscious, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. But this becomes a problem when our adaptive coping mechanisms keep us looping those same stories and behaviors that are no longer helpful. And to be completely frank with you, we don't do anything that doesn't benefit us in some way. Even things that seem harmful on the surface are actually an adaptive behavior that helped us survive in the past, decided on by a brain that was either under-resourced or underdeveloped, usually early in our childhood, right? Well, in our childhood, like our brain doesn't stop developing till we're 25. So we have a lot of time to accumulate these underlying beliefs and patterns, right? So together, we work with our behaviors from a place of compassion and understanding that this, whatever this is for you, is a way to survive. Shame has no foothold here because we see that it is all there for a reason, and we can lovingly thank our beautiful subconscious for helping us get to where we are now, regardless of the crazy, scary, hurtful things that we have been through. At the center of our work sits an embodied knowing that the played out behaviors we want to shift are our way of surviving, not something to be judged. We center around curiosity. We use acceptance as a powerful tool for change and a deep understanding of the nervous system and how it actually functions for us, and incredible amounts of compassion for ourselves and for others. And we also know that our emotions, all of them, are actually okay to feel. We just were never taught how to do that. So we learn that we must feel it to heal it, but that does not mean all at once. We're not diving into a deep cathartic release without the appropriate resourcing of your system, internal and external. But we don't shy away from them either. We essentially are dipping our big toe in, giving you ways of dealing with it, and then we go deeper as things open up and your capacity opens up. And we don't just stay at the level of mental emotional epiphany. We create action based on these new realizations. So when you're like, oh, of course, that's why I keep ending up in the same relationships. Of course, that's why I forget to feed myself and I take care of everybody else first, right? What we do is we create an action plan based on these new realizations with taking into account what's going on in the subconscious and so on and so forth. And this is where, after our like alchemizing pieces come in, our coaching comes in. This creates the opportunity for new beliefs to actually take root because we spend so much time in our old beliefs. We think they're true, but in reality, it's only an illusion of what is true. You are a whole, amazing, lovable, and capable human being. You are amazingly capable of creating the life that you dream of or something better. And that is all there available to you when we start to integrate and start to see the whole picture and then accept the parts of ourselves and work on loving ourselves back into wholeness. So, if you are ready to dive in with me, check out what's going on below and let's hop on a call.